Hello everyone, FilmJunkies Podcast, episode 1. We're here. All the talk is over. We can finally crack into it. I'm joined by Jack and Cian, Desmond, two very well-known filmmakers up and down the country, I'd say. Well qualified. I think it's fair to say, would you agree, lads?
Maybe not.
What do you think? I think we've known each other for a small while, let's say.
Yeah, about 10 years.
Is it about 10 years?
Yeah.
How long were you? Yeah. I think I'm pretty privileged to say that I was in your first set of films before back in the day.
Oh, God, yeah.
To grow to what you've done now, I must say it's very, it's pretty, you should be proud of yourselves, trust me.
Cheers, thanks.
I think it's very hard to have you guys on the podcast and not talk about really kind of important things because you'd be quite experienced. And I think one thing that I kind of wanted to bring up first was the Cork scene, because obviously we all grew up in Cork. And I kind of wanted to talk about just how hidden the film industry is in Cork, because I think people have this idea that if you want to become an actor in Cork, that Dublin is the only place to go.
Yeah.
Theatre and screen wise, I think. Well, not the only place, but it's the preferred place that you want to be.
Dublin definitely has a lot of the opportunities of regular work, of people who live there, who are involved and kind of confident about their abilities and confident about their place in the film industry. In Cork, it feels like in Cork it comes out once a year or twice a year at the film festivals.
It's quite rare.
It kind of comes out of the woodwork, and you're like, oh, there are film people who live here. There is kind of life here in the film industry.
Because I always say the music dominates Cork, but I think it dominates a lot of big cities in Ireland as well. I say big cities, Cork and Dublin. But I think when you look at music, and I said this as well, is that you always see posters for gigs, posters for music events. Yeah, it's a bit quieter, as you were saying, with casting and everything. It might even be films that are from Dublin filmmakers that come down for a location in Cork. Yeah. Or they're looking for the accent. But I think there's a lot of hidden stuff in Cork, and what I mean I mean directors and writers who I think they come down and either study it or they're very independent. And there's a lot of people who I have worked with, haven't worked with, would love to get the chance to work with, and have also worked with before. Who are extremely creative, I think, but just
pursuing kind of independent projects. You have
self-funded projects.
Yeah, exactly. You have less of the higher budget, or maybe state-aided stuff.
And they're not afraid to kind of come out outside this demographic of you have to make a drug film or like film about guards, or it can be like
that
comedy.
Seems to come a lot from the Dublin filmmakers. When they think of the Irish countryside, they'll think of The Guard, they'll think of
or even
Drugs Bust or something, or Garage or something like that.
Something like that. I think it's.
But I think Cork has a very, very deep pocket of creativity, especially in general across all arts, but film in particular. But while it has that deep pocket of raw talent, the infrastructure isn't there. Because Ireland is a small country.
There's 12,000 people in Cork employed in the film industry.
Oh, wow.
6,000 gone up in the last year. I'd say, to be honest, 90% of that, given what's going on, has been
probably down a lot.
At least 10,000.
But it's a fairly good number still.
Yeah,
and there are some improvements. Like in the last few years, there's the new investment board, Film in Cork. But to be fair, I mean, I think Film in Cork is probably a really great resource, but it is more about literally Cork as a film location rather than supporting Cork filmmakers. They like to advertise Cork as a location.
You see a lot of people coming down, making big productions come down. They film the odd scene.
But then
West Cork would be more than Cork City, I think.
Yeah, and then these, the county grants, you have grant in Kerry, Cork, Offaly, Kildare. That kind of brings filmmaking outside of Dublin. It's funny, there's not a dedicated film board in Cork that has a grant. Yeah, Kerry has a really good Kerry has it very developed, which is great. They're really punching above their weight there.
I think that in Cork especially, or even not in Cork, even all over there, and I think student films, to me, speaking from an actor's perspective, are extremely underrated to get work. And to get show reels, to get experience on a film set, to work with directors, to work with other actors, to feed off them, to learn things from them too. And I think, I know I was speaking to Jason earlier about how he did the St. John's course and the facilities weren't the same back in 2008, but I did this set of films with them, and just you had a group of young, motivated and determined filmmakers with good equipment. And that is essentially, as a young and up and coming, if you want to pursue acting, those are the kind of people I think you need to be around. I think I went up as well to the film school a few times, and just even the people there, are just extremely kind of.
It's definitely the
motivated.
atmosphere that is created.
Yeah, I got that vibe as soon as I went up. I said these guys are they really care about what they do.
We were just saying earlier actually that the nominations for the IFTAs came out, and Film School had on their social media that
this is the National Film School.
The National Film School
IDT.
in IDT, that they had, I think it was 22 of the nominees were former students at the film school, which is,
Did you know
fantastic.
any of them?
I mean, like this is the last 10 years.
Or no, sorry, okay.
We would know of them.
Like,
for instance, Vincent Lam. He got nominated for the best short film for his film that was a short film called Detainment, and that so it was IFTA 2020, but it got nominated like for the actual Oscar in 2019. It's a huge achievement.
So in terms of films, obviously we mentioned that you can't really do much, especially nowadays, that you can't really do a big film that's successful with the whole drug lords and kind of have the same theme, especially in features. You picked out a few films that you think are outside that and are not unknown, but quite underrated.
Yeah.
Which was the first one? You said Pilgrimage to me?
Yeah, Pilgrimage. Well, that's. I was just thinking earlier that it's kind of funny and it's kind of sad that, there's a lot of great Irish films that come out, but you might only hear about one or two that really make waves in the main kind of venue of public opinion, like that. You just don't hear about these films. Like, you go on Wikipedia and you go down the rabbit hole.
There's really like 20 to 30 good features, like not short films, but features made in Ireland every year by Irish people. But maybe only 2 or 3 get the headlines.
Because they very rarely come out in cinemas. The only time you'd see them is if we went to the Gate Cinema. You see them like the odd poster or two hidden in the background.
Yeah, or they're at film festivals
for a week, or film sales. Yeah,
and
Cork
as you said, just like a week or two, like which is. Not enough to make a big impact. But this film Pilgrimage, from 2017, a really cool like historical action film set during the times of the monks. I think it's like just when the Normans were invading Ireland.
14th century, 15th century.
I think it's cool. Like
I have 13th century in front
13th.
It's a really cool action film and a revenge film in an Irish historical setting, which is really, I think it's kind of cool. Like, and another film like that would be Black 47, which came out last year. Have you seen that one?
Yeah. But just quickly go back to Pilgrimage. It may have come out. No, I don't even know if it came out in Irish cinemas at all.
It
maybe in a few independent like art house ones.
Distribution.
But going from that, I was over in Germany and we were just on some random channel in satellite, and
they were playing
Pilgrimage.
Really?
Because cinema, like to be fair, is the kind of the ideal showcase. It's like the proper, like people watch movies at home. They maybe rarely go to the cinema, might go once or twice every year, but it's still seen as the proper what serious filmmakers do.
Yeah, I think people have this. That's the idea. I think people need to go to Dublin and live up in Dublin and go to, I don't know, Trinity or even De Lear, but it's the same thing. But I think Cork is very good if you want to be independent, I think.
Yeah.
If you want to go by the system and go and pay all that money to do the film courses in, not precisely the film school, but even if you went to like UCD and did a film course, they're not going to do a film course they're doing because they're in Dublin. I think that's the environment they need to be around.
Yeah.
I think I've gone to Dublin a few times to audition for things and meet a few people, and to me it's just a totally different world up there. I'm not sure, it's a bit weird. I think I feel a lot more comfortable in Cork. I just connect with people. I connect with directors and writers and stuff, and I think because of down here you are so creative and different, you stay away from the drug films and the kind of lower dark films like they do in Dublin all the time. But
one great independent film that was made in Cork last year was the film Float Like a Butterfly.
Float Like a Butterfly, fantastic film. That was really something quite different. It had the younger female lead that
it was different. Yeah,
you don't often see like this in Ireland, a young girl being the female director who's been making films in Cork for quite a while, but this was really quite a big one for her.
I think it was her first feature.
Was it her first?
First feature.
Well, she made another one in 2010 actually, which was about a kind of a thriller about a documentary crew. But this film, focusing on traveller issues in a rural setting, didn't quite stoop to any kind of tropes, which was very cool. Like you have a lot of films about Irish films, and they're like either rural or they're
like
they're city. The Guard,
or those kind of things.
This went to a real examining society. Like this was in the 50s. The film was set in the 50s, but it didn't just like examine as a satire or like.
And it wasn't preaching it. It wasn't preaching. Literally these people's lives as characters, flaws, and their struggles.
And again, it did well in the festival circuit. It went to Toronto, did well abroad, but it only opened in a few independent cinemas.
There's a film as well from 2017 I picked out that I think is, well, at the beginning I thought it's called Bad Day for the Cut. And it's a film about a man who lives with his mother, and his mother gets kidnapped and killed, and he goes after her, or goes after the killer to try and find the killer and hunt them down. Then he finds out that the mother was actually involved in, guess what?
What?
Drugs. So it's like every kind of story has the similar kind of route. But I thought
it's a good way to make drama, I suppose. Like
it's easy to add in. Like,
not to disparage a film I haven't seen, but it seems to be very similar to Calm with Horses that's out just now, right? And that's also a gangster film.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the name of it?
Calm with Horses. Calm with Horses, like with Barry Keoghan. Fantastic Irish actor.
I mean, he's a great actor.
I've seen it here.
But the storyline seems a little done.
But Asher,
but yeah,
it's a bit of drama.
So obviously we're talking about independent stuff that isn't recognised, and what's going on with COVID. We have an idea of shooting something in August in Kerry. We might do it, we might not. Obviously, if the restrictions become easier, or if they stay as they are, we can do it. But do you think that now that the industry, even the whole film industry, even all over the world, like even in Hollywood and stuff, it's been dead with what's going on, do you think that now is the perfect time to kind of identify, I think especially, that now that we're at an all-time low, we can start from scratch and say that Cork is a very productive and independent place if you want to become a filmmaker, I think.
Absolutely. Sure, why not?
Because I think before Dublin was always the place.
Sure, fake
but now
until
that
you make
everything
it.
is at a dead low, we can start up somewhere again, I think.
The thing about Dublin is that they have the rental houses.
I'm not having a go at Dublin, sorry. I think Dublin's a great place to, like, I'm just saying.
It's very handy to be up there, like.
Yeah,
you have everything there. You have the rental houses, you have the people who make decisions about, let's say in Screen Ireland, who make funding decisions. Mm-hmm. You have people who just are, really talented up there.
But like Dave was saying, now, COVID's happened and people are more used to working remotely with the remote meetings and phone calls. Maybe the face-to-face will prove to be less important. So maybe Cork can evolve and grow.
Sure. In Limerick, they were having the Choice Studios there, and they filmed that entire Apple series Foundation, which is coming out soon, or next year, is it, or is it this year?
I think it's early next year, yeah.
But it's supposed to be good, and it's supposed to have brought work to people. But they were complaining that they were only employing Dublin technicians and Dublin crew,
which defeats the whole purpose of investing in Limerick.
I'm not sure if that was for Foundation actually, or for the series before that. But then they were trying to focus more on hiring people from Limerick. Yeah. But it's still difficult for people who don't live in.
It's kind of like
these core areas.
Yeah. You don't want to say who you know, but it is kind of who you know.
It is, yeah. It is and it isn't. I know.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of it.
I think that one of the things I like as well about Cork is that I do know people, and I think somebody, no matter who you go to, somebody knows someone.
It's nice to know people.
You go to Dublin, and I have a lot of family up in Dublin, but I wouldn't know scrap of anybody. Yeah. I am starting from scratch when I go up there. When you're down in Cork, somebody knows somebody, just because I'm from the area. But if it'd be the same if I was in Dublin, like everybody knows who we are in Dublin.
What would your favourite Irish film be, Dave? If you had to pick one.
You see, I would be a simp now, and I would be like, you're win the shakes of barley kind of person.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I mean, it is.
It's a good film, but I think.
I mean, look, can you?
Do you know what? Do you know what? One film that I don't think, and I said this to you, Sing Street.
Okay.
And Lucy Boynton was in that.
Yeah.
She did Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
There was another actor in it who got his own YouTube Bread show, I think.
Bread.
YouTube Bread, like it's a YouTube original series on YouTube.
Okay. He really made it.
Can't remember the name of it.
Got that bread.
But yeah, that's one film I thought that was actually, because I loved the setting of it. It was like early 90s Dublin, and for a musical, I heard Irish musical, and I was like, oh god, this could be really bad, because it's nothing has been done like it before.
Yeah.
But I thought it was actually pretty good. That was 2000, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it was
that
recent enough.
Win the Shakespeare obviously is a classic. I think if
Ken
anybody,
Loach.
you turn to people anywhere in the UK as well, they know that.
It's interesting though that it's such a revolutionary film, literally about the revolution.
Literally, yeah.
And it's very Irish in every sense of the word, but it's made by this English socialist guy, Ken Loach, who has made a few films in Ireland. He also made Jimmy's Hall, which came out last year.
I've heard, yeah.
It didn't really kind of get too kind of much popularity, but like it is still another fantastic film.
Absolutely.
That examines Ireland, and the way it was, in a way that Irish directors don't really do. Like,
and also examines Irish history and Irish politics
that you wouldn't really hear about.
Yeah,
like.
exactly. That's been hidden from us. So it is nice to see that outside perspective, because there's a lot of films made by outsiders about Ireland that are actually terrible. Absolutely. Let's not even get into that.
No, let's get into it. The Matchmaker.
Go for it.
The Matchmaker. Do you remember that one about the American woman who comes to Ireland and trying to find roots, trying to find a husband?
I do.
And they go down to Kerry's small village.
There's another one called Leap Day, also about that.
Leap Year, yeah, Leap Year.
Leap Year.
Leap Year's another one. Sorry, I'm just trying to find.
They make all these like Hallmark films just for straight for TV, and they're like, oh, a leprechaun. We'll put a leprechaun in there.
We'll have an English guy put on an Irish accent.
That's another thing we could say. Bad Irish accents in movies.
Yeah.
Are always done by bad American actors.
Sure,
I mean English too.
I would prefer not to watch the films
Mark
themselves.
McKenna is the name of the guy from Sing Street. It's called Wayne. It didn't get a second season, I don't think. It kind of flopped. But I'm just saying that apparently that those two actors, Lucy Boynton and Mark McKenna, both got those roles that they did from
Based
their
off
work
of
on
Sing
that
Street.
film.
Yeah, John Crowley, or is it Crowley? He's quite successful as a musical director, which is mad. Coming from a fairly low budget film, which is called
Once.
Yeah,
but that was Oscar nominated. Well, Oscar nominated for a song.
For the soundtrack.
But still, he broke into Hollywood basically.
So, and he also did Brooklyn, which is again another really well known Irish, but actually an Irish film.
Yeah.
He made
but
it,
also you could argue like Hollywood.
Yeah, kind of
Hollywood
a Hollywood look at Ireland in the 50s. But
so
it's interesting, that all these directors coming to Ireland to make films. We've done this ever since the 1920s, the 1910s.
Literally.
Americans, let's say Edison or those people who were making those silent films, they sent people over to get footage in Ireland. Those were the first films in Ireland.
Yeah.
But now you have people like...
they were some of the first fiction films ever, the first 50 fiction films. 1910s,
20s.
Yeah, even 13, I think.
Yeah. But now you have like Yorgos
Lanthimos,
I think his name is,
Lanthimos,
who did The Lobster. He shot that in Cork.
Well,
parts of it. Fantastic film.
And he was collaborating with an Irish cinematographer.
So, that's Lobster. Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer for that. I don't think I've seen it, but I've seen the trailer.
A really nice film. And then he made another one with Barry Keoghan, actually, The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is Barry Keoghan and what's the name?
Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great film.
Terrible with names, but Colin Farrell. Yeah.
And you could argue on the face of it, doesn't seem like a very Irish film. It's set in America, probably New York.
Yeah.
They all have American accents. Even
Barry
Colin Farrell and Barry
Keoghan.
Keoghan.
They have got really good American accents.
Really good.
Actually.
Nicole Kidman's there, even also
she's pretty good.
putting on an American accent. But even though it may not seem like a Greek director, but it may not seem like an Irish film,
it doesn't really feel like an American film either.
But it was produced by an Irish production company.
Element
Pictures.
Element Pictures do so much. So many films.
I know. Yeah.
So even though it's definitely if you look on IMDb, if you look on Wikipedia, it is an American Irish production.
You know what's interesting? Another blend of you're not really sure where it's set is Vivarium, which is the new film starring Jesse Eisenberg.
I've seen the poster for that.
Who's playing himself as Jesse Eisenberg. But that was done by Lord Finnegan.
Nice to see him not play a character that's awkward.
No,
talking about this before.
He is.
Is he awkward in that too?
He's still awkward. Yeah.
Oh my god, this guy.
It's a really good film actually, and it's.
Sorry, I'm saying this guy like I'm better than him. I'm sure he's.
No, I mean I'm sure he's
a nice guy.
So that's all Irish films stuff that's quite goes quite under the radar a lot of the time. A lot of these are shot in Cork. Now, one thing I wanted to say, and I said this to you before, that you guys have made a lot of films. You've been on a lot of sets. You've been around a lot of people who love films. Is there any definitive quality that you, when casting, to have, an actor to have? Now, obviously, this can vary between what kind of film you're making, what kind of person you are. But do you think that there's something that every actor should have, a core ability to make it? Not make it, but be successful in what they do. Do you think?
I told you, Dave. I'm not hiring you again.
Why?
You're never going to be on another set with me, boy.
This is my interview. Come on.
Give me a break.
You haven't even seen my show reel yet. Come on.
I made your show reel.
I said that. That's true. Twice. You did it twice for me. You've cut it once and twice.
I mean, I think it's a very good question, Dave.
Because I just think I'm yet to run into somebody or to be on a set with somebody that I haven't got along with, and I feel like it happens to every person, actor or first AD or cameraman or sound guy. I feel like at some point you do find a clash of personalities because it is a very
absolutely
personality.
I think it's a question you should be really asking both sides. Like, as director or anyone on behind the camera, when you're working with an actor or a talent, you have to change the way you interact for every single different person. Every single different actor has their own way of reaching a performance, and you need to cater to them so that you can bring out the best to them. But at the same time, it should go the other way as well. And you try to meet, like, it's a collaborative.
Because I'm very lucky that's happened to me
Yeah.
all the time. Like, I haven't had a bad experience on a film set yet.
Oh God.
I feel like I'm waiting.
I have.
I know you have. I know you have. That's the thing, you've done more than me, so you've done more intense, higher end productions.
Look,
we've all been on big and small film sets, but I feel like you've been.
It can be. Sometimes it shouldn't be. I mean, maybe it shouldn't be, but it's a high pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Film sets can be stressful places, and if you forget something, like you forget to give to offer someone a cup of tea, which I did, and that pissed off an actor, and he was like,
"Wow, that wouldn't." If you offer me a cup of tea, don't mind we were friends, but if a director offered me a cup of tea, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah.
But if he didn't, I wouldn't be over the moon because I'd realise that he's a director. He's a lot more in his hands.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So
I think you have to be empathetic and humble, but you also need to be a little bit arrogant in your performance.
Yeah,
not off camera.
Confident and
focused, is
competent.
You need to know what you work best, how you work best, what you need on the day.
Bit of respect for both sides.
It's very hard because you could be sitting around for hours of the day doing nothing, and then you're called upon for 5 minutes to shoot a datum of the film and tell someone that you're in love with her.
I feel like as a...
But like you have to perform there and then.
Yeah.
And that's very difficult to do.
Absolutely.
That's why like the high end, like the Denzels and the Julia Roberts and stuff, they get paid I think the most to do that because they can do that after waiting around for 12 hours, and they could shoot it at 1 a.m. It was so awkward. Did you see the interview after when Joaquin Phoenix was doing press for Joker, and the clip came out of him giving out to the camera crew that he was trying to find something, and he was literally freaking out, like he was like, I'm trying to find something real, and he was like punching the piano and everything.
It was clearly important.
And it was Jimmy Fallon, I think it was, and they played the clip, and then they cut away from the clip back to the studio, and it was just literally 10 minutes of Joaquin Phoenix like crumbling in his chair at the cringe of it, and he looked, it was ridiculously awkward to see. Have you not seen that film?
No.
I'll definitely look that up.
I think it was Jimmy Fallon or what's the other one?
And they played it in front of him.
Played in front of him, and they were like, why were you like that?
I mean, why you like this? That's journalism.
What?
But that's journalism right there, asking tough questions.
But like he didn't even ask a question. He was literally laughed at the clip and said, why were you like that? I was like, it's pretty self-explanatory. He's an actor, no? He's trying to find something real.
I think the answer to your question is, what you're
don't
looking
do
for
that.
Exactly, not that.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, just be a normal person. Understand, it's a place of work. Like other people are there to work. They have families to feed. And like these lighting guys, they're not there to make you look. I mean, they are there to make you look up, but they're not there. They don't revolve around you. Yeah. They have their own lives.
Like I've worked with other actors who I won't say, but are divas and within the 100-yard radius, don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think when you're at that stage in your career of acting and you want to pursue it more, you have no right to be arrogant. I don't think.
I think at any stage of your career,
nobody has a right.
I don't think you have a right to say I don't want to do that.
It's okay. That's a different scenario.
Well, like I say, not an uncomfortable scene, but like if you have a film, if there's a film role offered to you, and it's not something you normally go for, but you have to do work to gain experience of being, not even just acting, film set experience, working with other people, all that stuff. That's what people look for. You have to do that. It's sometimes you have to do the stuff you don't want to do to get the stuff you actually want.
That's life.
But
as
a director, you have to be aware as well. If you're doing kind of student film, or low budget film, you also don't have a right to be expecting so much from your people that you're not paying.
Yeah, exactly.
Realistic expectations.
And decency, like it's just like respect, consideration is probably a good thing. Remember that you're dealing with people, and that it's supposed to be.
You're both on the film set, so you both actually want to make a movie.
Like I don't believe like a lot of directors sometimes believe you need to make it real, as in like if you want to see fear on the screen, you need to actually make that, as in like if you want to see uncomfortable, you're trying to make it tense or something, and I think that's awful.
You see, all directors that I've worked with, including you guys, have I've gotten along with, but like
you better say
in
that,
different.
boy.
No, but like you guys would have an understanding of what I feel like I'm best at because you worked with me a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas then when I was doing student films, the first time I did something outside of our group, I was learning what I was actually good at myself.
Yeah.
So I had to work with directors who gave me a lot of fluency with or a lot of freedom with the script, the dialogue. There was times where he would turn to me and goes, "What would you think this shot should look?" And I was like, this is not my job.
I don't know.
But like he would ask for my opinion, and then he'd be like, "All right, okay," but then he'd do it his own way. And I'm like, I was just kind of confused as to why you would ask me that.
I mean, you should.
I give my opinion,
stick
and
to
then you
lanes.
would completely disregard it,
Stick
and like
to your lane, bro.
it's like a pat on the back, being like, "Well done, you did a good thing today."
Yeah.
Like it's good to talk about like kind of characters, but you shouldn't be talking about on set. Like ideally, this should be done beforehand. You should
There's
have
time to do the homework. And
exactly, the homework should be done before you get to set. Like you can have maybe last minute questions, last minute revelations. That's cool, but you should really have all of this done before you get before you roll up.
Yeah.
Everyone else is waiting for you.
I try and I never come up to set or roll out or walk onto a set not knowing my lines. I think it's the most uncomfortable feeling ever. Yeah. Because sometimes the director can change your lines. Sometimes he can ask you to do something differently, and if you don't know the lines and you're asked to do it differently, it's the most.
Yeah, preparation.
It's never happened to me, but I can tell that I will be ridiculously uncomfortable. It's like walking into an exam not studying. Like.
Yeah, that's a way to put it.
Just bluffing it on the day isn't going to work.
I was just thinking, what do you think about film festivals being online and watching films online
as part of it? Because of COVID.
Yeah, like right now there are festivals online.
There are festivals.
What do I think of it? Like I said, I think it's a good idea, or is it?
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant idea. Obviously, because is this
Belfast,
any festivals in particular?
So Belfast Film Festival had their films online, and you could, I believe, watch some of them for free.
Oh, you've said this to me.
For a particular amount of time,
yeah.
And then Galway at the moment you can. I think you have to pay a little bit of money.
So those are three different ways to go about it. Belfast made it free. Galway made you have to pay.
Free but limited time.
And then say Fastnet. Fastnet was supposed to be in May, and instead of going online, they made the decision not to go online.
Postpone it.
Until postpone until 2021.
So it's not online; it's postponed.
Postponed.
Yeah. I remember that being in May. Yeah.
Because I mean, film festival is a special place. Like it kind of like.
That's
I
loved
when I went down Fast. I went by myself. I remember you were there a few days before, but I went by myself. I had a blast.
Yeah.
I was hungover there as well. I was at the premiere of my film the night before, and I got up at like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, drove straight down to Skull, and I had a great time.
Dedication.
Literally, I walked around by myself, met some cool people. I thought it was a great time.
That's what film festivals are all about.
Yeah, and I saw loads
it's
of cool
about the
films.
human connection.
You guys sent me the schedule, and you pointed out certain films I should see, and I saw all of them. And it's enjoyment, and it's something different, and something new, and I loved it.
So far, Cork Film Fest, Indie Cork.
We went to Indie Cork this year. Yeah.
What about
Are they both going ahead so far?
Was Indie Cork last summer?
No, it's
they're both in autumn. They're both in
because we went
November.
Cork Film Fest was in October, and then Indies in November.
Yeah, Cork is member. I remember I missed Cork this year because I was.
Oh, the other way around.
Working.
The sound technician says.
Dave's here,
David says.
But yeah, I think it's a good. I think it's if anything, it gives you more of an opportunity to watch films because sometimes you have to go, like you said, Belfast, Galway. Not many people are going to drive all the way up there. All you have to do is open up your computer. Yeah,
I'm actually the opposite though. I'd be less likely to go or watch this online. Like
it feels less special.
It feels less special. Like I'm looking at it with my.
I think it's good if you're into films.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd enjoy it as much if you're new to it and you're just trying to.
You're saying we're not into films, Dave.
What? Oh, the only people that listen to this don't even like movies.
But
I think it's a good idea, but it also takes away.
It has its pros and cons. Yeah, but
I like setting out a physical day and time. You're going to be in the cinema all day watching different films, and
like 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, like if you're short films or even like 2 features or something.
Would you like watching a lot of short films or 2 good films?
I like to mix and match. Like if they have a short film program, I definitely try to go for it because short films are important to see, and you might as well give them the respect that they need.
Well, I think it's definitely something that's a good idea, especially if we want to promote Cork as well.
Absolutely.
And Ireland, the film. But unfortunately, we're out of time. We're gone past half hour. It absolutely flew. Thanks, lads, for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Very experienced, very qualified people.
Enjoy that.
Yeah, that's it.
Until next time. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.